Hey everyone, welcome to Hidden Archives, the channel where real history meets unsolved mystery. If you love strange disappearances, ancient secrets, and stories the world still can't explain, you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop your favorite mystery in the comments. We might cover it next. The top 5 greatest mysteries of all time. 1. The Dyatlov Pass Incident, 1959. Imagine a frozen wilderness in Soviet Russia, the Ural Mountains, a region so remote and harsh, it was named by the indigenous Mansi people as Kholat Shakal, or Mountain of the Dead. In late January 1959, a group of 9 university students, skilled hikers and skiers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, set off on a trek through this brutal terrain. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group hoped to reach Otorten, a mountain 10 kilometers away from where they would eventually meet their fate. All 9 were young, experienced, and prepared, carrying maps, diaries, cameras, and warm gear. But on the night of February 1st, something went terribly wrong. The group had set up camp on the slope of Kholat Shakal, not in the forest below, where there was shelter, but on the open mountainside. It was a strange decision, but one Dyatlov may have made to practice emergency camping, or to avoid losing altitude. The next morning, silence. No radio check-in. Days passed. Families grew anxious. A search party was launched. When rescuers arrived at the campsite on February 26th, they found the group's tent, slashed open from the inside. Scattered around were footprints, barefoot, socked, or in a single shoe, leading down toward the tree line nearly a mile away. The scene told a chilling story. The hikers fled into the freezing night with no coats or gear, despite temperatures dropping to minus 30 degrees Celsius, minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Over the next few weeks, their bodies were discovered. Some died of hypothermia, found near a small fire they had tried to build. Others were found in a ravine, half buried in snow. But here's where the mystery deepens. 2 of the hikers had crushed ribs. 1 had a fractured skull. 1, Ludmila Dubinina, was missing her tongue, eyes, and parts of her face. Strangely, there were no external wounds matching the internal trauma. Forensic experts compared it to the kind of damage you'd get in a car crash, but with no signs of struggle, avalanche debris, or falling. Their clothes showed traces of radiation. Their skin had turned an orange hue. Eyewitnesses reported seeing orange orbs in the sky the night they died. Yet no official explanation was offered. The Soviet investigation concluded simply, death by an unknown compelling force. Over the decades, theories multiplied. Avalanche? Seems logical, but the slope was too shallow and no avalanche debris was found. Military test? The area was near missile sites, and some believe the hikers stumbled into a secret test. Infrasound? A rare weather phenomenon causing low-frequency vibrations that induce panic and disorientation. Paranormal theories? Aliens, Yetis, government cover-ups. In 2020, Russian investigators reopened the case and concluded it was likely caused by a slab avalanche, a rare localized snow collapse, supported by recent computer simulations. But that doesn't explain the crushed bones with no soft tissue damage, or why trained hikers fled their tent without shoes. To this day, no explanation satisfies all the evidence. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most haunting, unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. 2. The Voynich Manuscript, the book no one can read. Imagine discovering a book hundreds of pages long, filled with intricate illustrations, plants that don't exist, astronomical diagrams of unknown systems, and a script that's never been seen before or since. A language with no origin, no translation, no Rosetta Stone. That's the Voynich Manuscript. In 1912, rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich stumbled upon this strange document while sifting through a collection of old volumes at a Jesuit college in Italy. It was a bound book, roughly 240 pages, although several pages are missing. Written on vellum, animal skin, and lavishly illustrated with surreal imagery. Women bathing in green fluid, fantastical plants, astronomical wheels, alchemical recipes, and diagrams that seem both advanced and impossible. The writing system? Totally unknown. It flows left to right and seems consistent, with recurring patterns and clear word breaks, but matches no known language. Radiocarbon dating places the manuscript between 1404 and 1438, making it over 600 years old. But no author has been identified. Some suspected Roger Bacon, the English monk and philosopher. Others believed it might be the work of a Renaissance hoaxer. During World War II, top Allied codebreakers, including those who cracked the German Enigma machine, attempted to decode the Voynich manuscript. They failed. More recently, AI and linguistics experts have tried to analyze the patterns. Some claim it's a form of coded Latin. Others say it's a natural language written in a unique cipher. Still others argue it's an elaborate hoax with no actual meaning. Random gibberish designed to imitate language. But if it's a hoax, why does it obey linguistic rules, like Zipf's law, which real languages follow? Why does it contain such consistency in vocabulary and structure? And then there are the illustrations, plants, dozens of herbal drawings, none of which can be identified with certainty. Astronomy, zodiac-like diagrams with stars and moons, yet no clear connection to known systems. Anatomy, dozens of nude female figures in bathtubs connected by pipes and tubes, as if part of some unknown biological or ritual process. Theories include everything from a lost alchemical language to extraterrestrial origin. The manuscript now sits in Yale University's Beinecke Library, where it continues to confound scholars, cryptographers, and mystics alike. 6 centuries, hundreds of pages, 0 answers. What secrets does the Voynich manuscript hold? 3. The D.B. Cooper. Hijacking. 1971, November 24th, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. A man in a dark suit and tie carrying a briefcase walks calmly through the terminal at Portland International Airport. He buys a one-way ticket under the name Dan Cooper, later misreported by the press as D.B. Cooper, and boards Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305, a short flight bound for Seattle. The flight carries 36 passengers and 6 crew members. Cooper takes seat 18C. He orders a bourbon and soda. A few minutes after takeoff, he hands a note to a flight attendant, Florence Schaffner. She assumes it's just another businessman trying to flirt, so she tucks it away. Cooper leans toward her. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." She opens it. The note is simple and terrifying. Cooper claims he has explosives in his briefcase. He opens it slightly, revealing wires, red sticks, and what appears to be a homemade bomb. He demands $200,000 in unmarked bills, 4 parachutes, a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane in Seattle. The flight crew calmly relays the demands to the airline. The FBI is contacted. Rather than risk lives, authorities agree. When the plane lands in Seattle, Cooper lets the 36 passengers go in exchange for the money and parachutes. The flight crew stays on board. Now comes the real twist. Cooper instructs the pilots to take off again, heading south toward Mexico City, but he gives very specific flight parameters. Fly below 10,000 feet, keep the landing gear down, maintain slow speed, leave the rear staircase unlocked. Only a few minutes into the second leg of the flight, somewhere over the dense forests of southwest Washington, the rear staircase is triggered. Cooper jumps, vanishing into the stormy night with $200,000 strapped to his body and 2 parachutes. That's the last confirmed sighting of D.B. Cooper. The FBI launches one of the most extensive manhunts in U.S. history. They search the forests, rivers, and mountains around the estimated jump zone. Nothing. No parachute. No body. For years, Rumors swirl. A hunter finds a decaying parachute near the Columbia River. In 1980, a boy discovers $5,800 in rotting $20 bills buried in sand, later confirmed to be part of Cooper's ransom. Dozens of people claim to be Cooper or know who he was. None are ever confirmed. Theories abound. Was he an ex-military paratrooper? Did he die in the jump, his body lost in the wilderness? Was it an inside job? Despite multiple suspects, including Vietnam vets, criminals, and even a Boeing employee, the FBI never charges anyone. In 2016, after 45 years, the FBI officially closes the case. To this day, D.B. Cooper's identity, fate, and the bulk of the ransom money remain a mystery. He pulled off the only unsolved hijacking in U.S. aviation history. 4. The Lead Masks Case. It sounds like the plot of a science fiction novel, but this story is 100% real. In August 1966, 2 men were found dead on a remote hillside in Niterói, Brazil. Their names were Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel José Viana, both electronic technicians from a nearby town. What made the scene truly bizarre was what they were wearing. Formal suits, waterproof coats, and lead masks. Not full helmets, just crude hand-cut lead eye shields, like something used to block radiation. Next to them lay an empty water bottle, 2 towels, and a small notebook. Inside were cryptic instructions. 16:30, be at the agreed place. 18:30, ingest capsules. After the effect, protect metals, wait for signal. No signs of violence, no obvious trauma. Toxicology reports were inconclusive, possibly due to decomposition. Whatever they had taken, if anything, was gone. Investigators were baffled. What were they doing on that hill? And what were they waiting for? Digging deeper revealed that the 2 men were fascinated by spiritualism and DIY experiments involving electricity and supposed psychic phenomena. They'd even told their families they were going to buy work supplies, but instead traveled hundreds of kilometers to that remote location. Some believe they were attempting to contact extraterrestrial beings, or traveling out of body using drugs or electrical energy. Others think it was a spiritual ritual gone tragically wrong, and the lead masks, possibly protection from radiation or bright lights they expected to encounter, though no such source was ever found. To this day, the case remains unsolved, shrouded in conspiracy theories, paranormal speculation, and a deeply unsettling silence. 5. The Somerton Man. Mystery. Early in the morning on December 1st, 1948, a man's body was discovered slumped against a seawall on Somerton Beach, just outside Adelaide, Australia. He was well dressed in a suit and tie, polished shoes, and a freshly shaved face. But he carried no wallet, no ID, and all the labels had been cut from his clothes. To the police, he was a ghost. The cause of death was unclear. No wounds, no signs of struggle. Some thought poison, but no traces were found. The man quickly earned the nickname the Somerton Man. Then came the first clue. Hidden in a small, concealed pocket of his pants was a tiny, rolled-up scrap of paper with 2 printed words: Tamam Shud, Persian for "it is finished." The phrase came from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a centuries-old book of poetry. But why was it hidden in his clothes? A man came forward saying he found a copy of that exact book tossed in his car, just a short walk from the beach. Inside the back cover was a handwritten code, a strange mix of capital letters that still hasn't been cracked, and a phone number. That number led to a local nurse who fainted when shown the body. She claimed not to know the man, but some believe she was hiding something, possibly a secret relationship. Even her own daughter, decades later, said she thought her mother had been involved. For over 70 years, no one knew who the Somerton Man was. But in 2022, forensic researchers used advanced DNA testing to identify him as Carl Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. Mystery solved? Not quite. We now know his name, but why he was in Adelaide, how he died, and what the coded message meant, those questions still remain unanswered. Some believe he was a jilted lover. Others say he was a Cold War spy. One thing's certain. The Somerton man took his secrets to the grave. These are just a few of the world's most haunting and unexplained mysteries, stories that defy logic, stretch the limits of science, and leave us with more questions than answers. From vanished aircraft, to cryptic deaths, to codes that have never been broken. Each one adds another strange page to the hidden archives of our collective history. Which mystery do you think will be solved first? Or are some meant to stay unsolved forever? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed diving into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and open the archives again with me next time. Until then, stay curious.